So right now we're using the LaseMD Ultra, which is the upgraded version of the LaseMD. It's the most powerful thulium laser on the market. And thulium lasers are very superficial lasers. They go about 200 to 250 microns deep, which is 0.2 to 0.25 millimeters deep. So they're really good for superficial pigmentation, superficial fine lines and wrinkles. It also happens to be very good at melasma treatment because it's very superficial and it doesn't irritate the melanocytes as much as deeper lasers do. So she's doing this procedure without any prior anesthesia, no numbing creams whatsoever. The whole procedure can take around 8 to 10 minutes to do the full face. I just did this procedure and within 2 hours I was at a restaurant eating a fine dinner. It takes around 4 or 5 days for the peeling from the laser to come off. But it's a very fast and well-tolerated procedure. We usually do these in a series of about 3, separated by 2 to 4 weeks. So the difference between the LaseMD and the LaseMD Ultra is the power. The LaseMD was 4 watts, and this is 20 watts. The only other thulium laser on the market is the Fraxel, and that's 12 watts. And there's a clear and brilliant actually that's even less than that, less than the LaseMD. So anyways, the thulium laser has been around since the Fraxel came out with it about 10-12 years ago. It's a very safe laser, safe for all skin types. So the other things that the LaseMD Ultra can do is that it has a very high density stamping capacity. So instead of rolling, you do stamping, and that could treat particular pigmented areas, pigmented lesions, without having to do the roller. It also can get areas that are a little bit hard to roll, like the nose sometimes a little bit hard, or around the eyes sometimes a little bit hard to roll. It always comes with the serums that the LaseMD has, so after doing the procedure you can lay serums, and tranexamic acid is one of the more commonly used ones, but there's resveratrol and vitamin C and tretinoin. The skin gets a little bit red, but there isn't much swelling associated with this procedure. And by the following day, all you have is some mild redness, and your face feels a little bit like sandpaper. That roughness is what sloughs off in approximately 4 or 5 days. The post-procedure wound care is basically moisturizing the skin. So going over to the GUI, it's a much more involved GUI than the LaseMD. So right here you have a cumulative energy, and you can see it gradually increasing as we roll. You have an energy, and it can go all the way up to 20. And as you increase the energy, the coverage increases up to 5% per pass. I like to use the energy mode because it's just very easy to dial in the energy. There's another mode over here, but I don't want to interrupt. This is the smaller handpiece. And then there's a larger handpiece that I told you was stamping, which has a much larger foot plate than this current foot plate. It has a lot of memory, so you can store different settings according to what your preferences are, and that's very easy to do. Over here, this is where you mix up the serums, right in here, just like the LaseMD.